Hello everyone, this is Nikita. Welcome back to my channel, and I am back with another video on 75th anniversary of India's partition. I have shortlisted only 15 as of now. So I'm going to tell you all of them, the entire glimpse of all those 15 books. As an Indian, I think it is your duty as well as your right to know about the legacy of India's partition that had happened. So to know more about this, and witness the Holocaust through your eyes, read these books, whichever is your favorite according to this video. So stay tuned for the entire video.
The first book on the list is Zindagi written by Krishna. Basically, it is a magnum opus by an all-time great Hindi writer, Neer Kanwal Mani. Now it has been published in English by Krishna. So this novel basically builds a traditional plot structure to deliver a stunning wide-angle view of both partition and Indian society in general. Another book is Tawba Texing, which is a hilarious satirical story explaining the uprooting of people from their own homes and throwing them on some unknown land with unknown future after partition. So the narration is from the perspective of a madman, and these madmen whose madness is way milder than that of so-called normal human beings. On number 3 we have this book written by Intizar Hussain named as Basti, which is one of the most important books on partition. So Intizar Hussain is one of the most important Pakistani writers of all time, and Basti was the work that brought him on the world map. And it is also now in a New York Review of Books edition. Basically, this novel focuses on the partition as a memory, and the novel is deeply grounded in memories and nostalgia. Van Elfes makes a significant comment in this regard. Narrative memory, a uniquely human capacity, consists of mental constructs which people use to make sense of experience. On number 4 we have Atia Hussein's Sunlight on a Broken Column, which is set just before and during partition, and it describes a young woman's slow and grudging acceptance of Indian nationalist politics and the role of a secular Muslim. On number 5, Khushwant Singh's Train to Pakistan, perhaps the first great partition novel of them all, published in 1956, less than a decade after partition, that it is still considered as a classic nearly 7 decades after its release, and it speaks volumes about the raw power of Khushwant Singh's writing. This is a novel that forced its readers to confront some unpalatable truths about the violence of 1947. In the book, Khushwant Singh says that according to Hindus, the Muslims were to blame. The fact is, both sides killed, both shot and stabbed and speared, both tortured, both raped. Remembrance of Things Past is another beautiful novel. French writer Marcel Proust is generally credited for the concept of involuntary memory. Through his novel Remembrance of Things Past, these memories can be triggered by the smallest of occurrences or even by small everyday objects. If one looks at the partition novels to come out of the Indian subcontinent over the last 75 years, we see several intersecting perspectives of how human memory functions, especially in the context of trauma or repression. Amrita Preetham's 1950 Punjabi novel Pinjar is on number 7. It is now translated into English as The Skeleton by Khushwant Singh. It sticks to a deeply personal story throughout, the kidnapping of a Hindu girl Puro by Rashid, a Muslim man, and yet somehow has more to say about the communal politics than most outwardly political books we have. On number 8 we have Anita Desai's novel Clear Light of the Day, which is an atypical choice, but in my view it's an important text because it describes the material and psychological impact partition has on a Delhi-based family in 1970s. Over 20 years after the incident, there are wounds that reopen and causes havoc in the family's lives. Another book recommendation that we have is Tamas by Bhisham Sahani. No list of partition fiction is complete without Tamas. This is a story of a group of Sikh and Hindu families in Pakistan which are forced to migrate to India overnight. Govind Nihalani's film of the same name is every bit as devastating as this novel. On number 10, we have this book called as Storm of Sand. This book uses compelling metaphors for the state of relations between India and Pakistan. So, as we head towards yet another anniversary of independence for these two nations, so it's worthwhile to remember this passage from this book and what it says about our respective governments. Remnants of Separation is on number 11. It is a very nice book which revisits the partition through objects that refugees carried with them across the border. These belongings absorb the memory of a time and place, remaining latent and undisturbed for generations. They now speak of their owners' past as they emerge as testaments to their struggle, sacrifice, pain, and belonging at an unparalleled moment in history. List is the book written by a Pakistani novelist Bapsi Sidhwa's Ice Candy Man, which is also published in US as Cracking India. It is another novel that understands the nature of repressed memories quite well. So we meet its protagonist Lenny as a middle-aged woman who is remembering the scenes from her childhood, like the author herself. Lenny is a polio stricken 9-year-old in Lahore at the time of partition. So, this child notices when adults are being evasive or downplaying. So, she notices the intensity of every incident, but of course, there are limits to what a child can fully grasp. This novel basically derives much of its strength from this gap in perception between an adult and a child. Deepa Mehta's film Earth was based on this novel and it's a must watch for all the history buffs.